Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Seattle. Welcome to the Halo World Championship Finals. And more importantly, welcome to Championship Sunday. Our first match of the day is about to get underway. The loser goes home, Dave. It is Reciprocity taking on Renegades.
So much on the line here. We've seen Renegades fall just short when we watched them play yesterday on the Bravo stream. Can they pick that up from yesterday? They're going to have to if they're going to beat Reciprocity.
Yeah, it's going to be a big ask of both these teams. We saw heartbreak for both these teams yesterday. Of course, the loser of this match will be going home. However, on the other side of things, a shot at $1 million prize pool. And of course, that first place of $500,000. Incredible stats on the line here, Dave. Incredible amount of money.
Yeah, unlike previous Worlds where I felt like Tox/Optic/CLG were so far ahead of the competition. I mean, we do have some dominating forces in the likes of Splice and Tox, but these two teams can absolutely make a run here and make their way to this finals.
And I wanted to get your views on the G Fuel key player matchup that the guys on the desk were talking about before. APG, you can see him on the right-hand side of your screen there. Had a little bit of a premature celebration, we'll call it, yesterday, obviously in the series against Envy. He's going to be a big player for Renegades. On the other side of things, Spartan, big performances from him yesterday. What are your thoughts on that matchup and how it's going to play out?
I mean, it's kind of like the old versus the new blood. APG was such a dominant force early on and even in Halo 3 days. And so to see it's kind of like this Brains versus Bronze right now. APG having so much more experience under his belt, whereas Spartan's kind of that new young gun. He can play so quick and at such a fast pace.
Well, speaking of fast pace, ladies and gentlemen, it's the first game of the day. Seattle makes some noise for these two teams. We're going to start off with Spartan trades across the board, all about that battle for that camouflage and that railgun.
And look at what he's doing with his death screen. Every single time these players are going to die, they're going to rotate their screens and give as much information as possible. Also, when we eventually do go to listen-ins, one call-out I really love that you hear from Spartan is he always says, heard you. Basically, he's trying to clear those communication lines. Anytime his teammates are talking a bit too much, he's saying, yep, I heard that call out. I'm focused on something else. Let me do my thing.
Railgun in the hands of Snipe Down. Spartan now making a push on the base. Finds an easy kill here, and you can see the flag already being moved across the map here by Reciprocity. Ace does manage to get a kill, but Penguin, he's flying through the window, slides the first cap of the day in. Reciprocity up by 1.
That is a huge start for this team. Less than 1 minute into the game, and they get that capture. We talked about if Renegades were going to win this series, they have to come out hot, and it looks like they're coming out a bit flat. Reciprocity came to play today.
And this man on your screen right now, some of the plays he was making yesterday with that sniper rifle, just iconic Eric Rona, essentially. Now he's got the railgun in his hands. Going to be taken down to no shields. Ace manages to take that kill to his feet. Now, over to APG, the other side of our key player matchup that we were talking about. We've already seen the hot start coming in from Spartan and the rest of his teammates. Can APG answer back with the rest of his team?
He'll have to. I mean, with this sort of start, he's trying to get a bit aggressive, but just falling right into these Reciprocity traps. This is a bit difficult. One thing that's a bit concerning here from the Renegade side is you notice how APG was just trying to make a move on his own, see if he's going to slip by and get those kills, but instead met a 2-on-1. Luckily, his teammates in the form of Ace and Neptune were able to get 3 kills of their own. That was all 4 down for just a split second, and now we're going to see Renegades pushing in and putting the squeeze on Reciprocity.
Yeah, they're going to be getting those kills at the right time in the game as well, because the camouflage is about to come up in the next few seconds. APG just peeled off top mid there by Snipe Down. Great shots from him. You can see Reciprocity now making that move towards top middle. 2 players are going up there. Renegades are going to grab it though. Neptune desperately trying to stay alive, using the Spartan shots to try and get around the corner. Luckily though, Penguin was weak. Otherwise that could have been a little bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, he unfortunately hit that corner like you said, but Neptune having the skill to realize, hey, I missed this. Time to make the best of this worst situation. One way I described Neptune before is that he will win fights that he's not supposed to win, and then he usually cleans up all the kills that he's supposed to get. You can't ask for much more than that.
On the other side of things, the railgun is in the hands of Reciprocity, so the power-up actually going to be taken down there. Nice grenade coming in from Mikwin. 2 kills on the board for him as well. Now we're going to see Penguin, apologies, with the railgun. I'm so used to seeing it in Eric Rona's hands that sometimes you presume it's in there all the time, but APG going to pick up the perfect kill on him. Look for the second kill as well. Picks up a big double here, APG, and that's going to turn into a killing spree and the railgun going into the hands of Renegades.
And it's not just a double kill that's so significant. It's the fact that it's on the Reciprocity side of the map. That's going to create an absolute big window of opportunity for his team to run that cross, but it looks like Spartan, the other G Fuel player of the game, is answering right back because he gets 2 kills of his own and a flag toss out of the base.
Yeah, good play from Spartan there. Immediately realizing the situation. 2 players falling to his own hands, to his own pistol. Moved immediately into the base, realized there wasn't going to be a chance of anyone really, you know, being in position to potentially stop that flag pull. But the 2 players coming off the respawn, they made sure they cycled back. Got that kill, shut down that flag run. Now we're going to see map control of the fight at the moment. And the 2 players on your screen moving towards top mid.
Yeah, that was the 2nd or 3rd time that we've seen players from Reciprocity pushing over towards the silo/treehouse half of the map and just getting 2-on-1 engagements. That's a bit surprising because generally if you go over towards that half of the map, you kind of expect the numbers advantage to be in your favor if you're pushing over there.
Yeah, big win from Spartan there, but you have to say a little bit of choke on the railgunner from Lunchbox, and it's going to turn into kills for Spartan as well, trying to take another player down. If he can charge up this railgun, it would have been a big kill, but his teammate Mikwin manages to help him out a little bit, make sure that that kill gets traded out, and hopefully that railgun's staying in the hands of Reciprocity.
Yeah, these players are looking over for this camo. I didn't get the exact time. It must have just came up, and there it is in the hands of Snipedown. I would have loved to see him bust out his pistol there. However, Mikwin hitting perfect 5 in that situation, so he saves his own life.
Did get hit markers on this player in the gem, but nice grenades, nice prediction grenades as well. Oh, now it misses another railgun, and that's going to be Lunchbox with the light rifle, comes in, picks up the double, takes the railgun down, and the camouflage as well.
Great plays there from those players. Now, I want to see what Mikwin does here. One thing that's kind of changed a bit from Fathom back in the day is you see players now revert just back to their base. They say, hey, one of the best spots to hold on the map when you're down in numbers is just to hunker down your base because it's so hard to collapse in. Players can hide in engine side, and they have to funnel in from so many narrow locations like the elbow or the front porch. And so it's a bit counterintuitive because in most cases, when you're trapped in your base, you're like, well, we need to be the aggressor. We need to push out and get better positioning. However, on Fathom, it's quite the opposite. Sometimes your base is one of the safest spots to hold on the map.
We're going to have this battle top middle, finishes off the kill on Ace. You can see there was a flagpole momentarily after Reciprocity did get those kills, but it has been returned home now. Jump aboard with Lunchbox, such a veteran player, used to these championship Sundays. It's almost weird to think of a time that Lunchbox won't be on this main stage on a championship Sunday. He knows how to win these games, and that experience day, so valuable in these big game situations.
Yeah, his decision-making is on another level. The way he's able to coordinate his team, the plays he makes. I remember yesterday when we watched him on Coliseum CTF during that flag standoff period where he single-handedly pushed over towards the cave side of the map. And that's a risky move to do when you have Sniper, but he was able to acquire a couple kills and eventually led to his team gain that flag recovery.
You can see Lunchbox sat here at the moment. He's going to have eyes on top middle because, once again, the camouflage is going to be popping pretty soon, but Red X is appearing in front of him. That means he's going to just have to slow down the pace of the game a little bit here. Make sure he doesn't give away another death to Reciprocity because you know that push would be coming in. Picks up the kill on Spartan. Now we're immediately going to potentially change his focus towards top middle. You can see that camo there. Great place from Lunchbox.
And he just sniffed something else out too. He's watching his own side of Treehouse. He says, all right, we got a couple kills here. I feel like there's a player missing. So until he probably heard that last call out, he was a bit concerned about somebody flanking in that situation. So you notice that awareness just is on a whole nother level with Lunchbox.
Flagpole is coming in here. Penguin does get the kill though, so Ace is going to play this one nice and slowly. He's around the corner here on the elbow, has that camo. It looks like he's waiting for these players just to push out of the base, and I love this from Ace. He's going to have to flank on all these players. If his teammates can pick up kills, he's going to immediately go for that flag.
And he's sniffed out too. You saw that railgun charging up. This is such a huge 1v1 in this situation, and I don't disagree with repositioning. Nice back smack from Ace as he catches Spartan trying to revert back towards his base. He gets that railgun shot out and tosses the flag. This is just so much pressure on this side. You know all of Reciprocity are calling out camo in front of us. Somebody focus on and get this kill, but nobody's able to take him down. That's the 2nd time Spartan falls.
Couple of kills here for Renegades, and they could potentially get that flag moving. However, massive credit to Penguin there. Didn't get baited out by this situation, did not overextend to make sure that he took Ace out, wasn't too worried, waited for his moment to pounce. Using that railgun, keeping that railgun, and keeping that flag at home, most importantly.
Yeah, that base defense again. We always credit some of these players when they make these incredible individual plays, but at the end of the day, it's also a game of mistakes. These players are just going to sit back and say, hey, let's have you make the move. You have to be the aggressor and somehow break this defensive maneuver, defensive position that I'm in right now.
Kills falling heavily in the favor of Reciprocity here. You can see player is going to get a return there, so Spartan's probably going to lose this battle to APG. He does so. So they live to fight another day here, Renegades, keeping that flag at home. Am I going to be popping pretty soon once again? Mikwin with some nice shots there onto Neptune. Gets the double with the grenade now. Looking for more. There's a player no shields in the gen. Great damage being dealt by Mikwin right here, and this is what you need, a player sat up top middle, just laying down these shots on the players.
Yeah, that's great play right there. I have to wonder, though, if Mikwin was the ideal candidate for that camo, because they just got a double. Mikwin could have flew in towards Porch and potentially blocked the spawns on the Renegades base, so that would have been interesting to see how that would have played out if you left camo for one of his backed up players. Now they have to get another round of slays, and it looks like they were able to acquire that, but 2 members now fall from Reciprocity. This flag's dead in the water.
Yeah, that was a big play from the guys on Renegades there, because Reciprocity had Railgun as well as this camo you can see on your screen, so they had all the tools to make that flag run work. However, 2 kills coming in succession is going to slow down that run. It forces all the players from Reciprocity just to fall back and play defensively.
Such great maneuverability from Mikwin. One thing that was impressive in that entire time was he saw Ace was not going to budge from that corner. So as soon as he realized that player wasn't going to push from his side treehouse, he decided to take those light rifle shots and constantly moving around. Even though he's camo, he doesn't assume that these other players aren't going to be able to find him. So he always wants to change his position. He gets the kill, moves around, does the loop around, and is able to get that back smack.
For the people at home who are watching, there was a platinum rep pack on your screen as well. Rhino FFA, our champion, crowned earlier today. Congratulations to him, taking home that prize money. But let's actually jump into a listening with Reciprocity here. They're up by 1. The push is coming from Mikwin. Let's see how they play this one out.
All dead.
I got it.
One spawn.
Go flanking. Already OE'd.
Nice, our elbow.
Just come back.
Make sure we come back.
Make sure we come back. Our elbow right now. Flank them hard as fuck.
Yeah, he's weak our elbow. Weak our elbow, one shot.
Get in our pit.
Absolute.
That dude's still our big.
Live, we got flag in.
2 1-shots are from back. I got 1.
2 dead.
Our pit. 3 dead. We X1 our pit. One shot our pit. He's on the sub, below you, on the sub. He's like there. Nice.
Our pit.
I got railgun. What time's camo?
32.
Their tree?
You got time on him.
I'm nading their trees, Austin.
Weakness, small door. 2 shot. There you go,
Up
man.
there, LR. On their
Another one
porch, I
there,
think.
Jen. Another one there,
10
Jen.
seconds. OBX1. I got him. Another guy on their porch.
Just play for this camo, guys.
Yeah,
They're small door. They're small door.
32. Where's their porch? Austin, I can get this with the... no.
That's fine. Just they're big door to tree, I think.
32. Their porch. I put 3 in APG.
I'm coming, tree, Eric.
All right.
Another flag goes in for Reciprocity during that listening. Calm and composed, Dave, on Championship Sunday. Exactly what you want to hear.
Yeah, you heard all 4 down. They said move back with that flag. You hear them wanting to play for this camo. They're doing everything correct in the situation. They aren't getting desperate trying to get this 3rd and final cap. Instead, they're going for slays. They're getting those power weapons and those power-ups. One thing Clutch had highlighted earlier on the desk was saying he felt that Renegades would have to get like 80% of the power-ups and power weapons if they wanted to have a chance of taking down Reciprocity. And it's been quite the opposite thus far. Yeah, we've seen almost every single one going in the hands of Reciprocity.
I was going to say power weapon, kills. Reciprocity have 9 on the other side. Renegades just the 1. So, I mean, Clutch's point perfectly made here. Reciprocity have dominated the majority of this game. We haven't really even seen a flagpole in vain. Speaking of flagpoles, Spartan's going to put it on the spot. Is any of his teammates there to finish it off? Snipe down puts it home. And Reciprocity take your game number 1.
They're a bit pumped about that, but you notice how they're not overly celebrating. They realize that they can't go on a huge emotional roller coaster this early in the series. Best of 7 is a long, long series. Just taking 1 game is a tiny little dent at what they need to do.
Very true. And one team who definitely know that, the team sat opposite them, Renegades. After yesterday, premature celebration we mentioned, they're going to know that this is a long series. And one thing we actually missed there was Mikwin with a killing frenzy in game number 1 here on Championship Sunday. That is exactly the confidence boost he'd need.
Yeah, he was going most least on his team. So those are absolute monster numbers there from this Michigan player, Mikwin.
Yeah, big performance from him. And Reciprocity, we talked about power weapon control, and when we mentioned what Clutch had said on the desk, and it was a prime example. It really was. You know, the amount of power weapon pickups that they had, camos that they had in comparison to Renegades, I mean, it just showed on the map. There was no surprise we were watching so much Reciprocity point of view, because if we went to the other side, most of them would have been death screen for the majority of it.
Yeah, and towards the end, although we did see Reciprocity get that 3rd cap, you notice how Renegades, they had to get aggressive. I mean, you're down 2-0 and there's only 2 minutes left. People have to be charging across the map to try to force something. It doesn't matter if you lose the flag game 2-0 or 3-0, and a player like Lunchbox is going to iterate that in his team. He's not going to say, hey guys, we need to lose by smaller margins. Yeah. Don't try to go for some sort of flagpole at the end.
Well, that was your series layout, but quickly as anything, we're moving into our game number 2 here. Slayer on the rig is going to be the one that we are going to. Sniper rifle, of course. It's respawning every 3 minutes, scatter shot every 20 seconds after it's been used up. And of course, in the middle of the map, That beautiful shining camouflage.
Yeah, we'll have to see what team gets the better start here. That first hit marker from Spartan is going to let him know that he hit the scattershot player, and that's a risky decision to make. It says, hey, this scattershot player is now one shot. Do you go around that corner and try to get that finish and get in that close range fight with that weapon, or do you just decide to back down and take control of that snipe hole? It looks like he opted to back down.
Now, for the first time in the series so far, obviously we're very early in the series, both of the weapons on the map are in the hands of Renegades. You have Lunchbox, who has the sniper rifle. You have Ace, as you can see on your screen here, with the scat shot as well. So the camo was burnt at the start. So this is a real opportunity here for the guys on Renegades maybe to just get comfortable, pick up some kills, and get a bit of a feeling in this series.
Yeah, very comfortable. They need to back up Lunchbox right here. He has 2 or 3 players charging him over on the side. I can't tell if that sniper dropped off the map. I believe it did. But you have to wonder where the rest of the Renegades members. It looks like they wanted to get some sort of step on the inside of the map, but Lunchbox wasn't fully aware of that since he had sniper over at Carbine.
And would you say that was a miscommunication maybe from teammates, or do you think it was just decision-making not quite being on the same level?
I think possibly a combination of both. We didn't hear exact call-outs from their end, so we're not sure who, if anyone, made a mistake right there. But clearly they were not on the exact same page because they had a few numbers down. They had a few kills leading up to that event, and they should have known instantly where to go with that weapon or how to help Lunchbox when he was over on Carbine side.
Renegades have eked out an early lead here in this game. Only a few kills. You know how quickly these games can swing, especially with the amount of power weapons that are available, the amount of power-ups that are available as well. We're going to see Snipe down here challenging this kill. He's going to get traded out, though. APG lands the beat down there. Onto him to take him down. Spartan going to be taken down as well. So nice plays coming in here from Renegades, making sure they're getting their trades. We talked about communication. Let's actually jump into a listening with Renegades because they're seeming to get a little bit warm.
Hey, I'm not there with you. I'm not there with you, Brad.
Camo. We did not do anything crazy.
Absolutely. I'm one hit. I'm one hit.
Yeah, there, look at.
I'm pushing mid cat. I'm pushing right corner.
45, 10 seconds.
White corner. Top rail. Top rail. White corner. Two top rails just push me.
Travis, you have to go for the burn. The 22. 45.
Barrels one hit. Absolutely barrels.
Yeah, barrels. G2 Travis. 45.
Two bottom rail one shot. Two bottom rail one shot. Gonna go cut.
Look at it.
You got it. You got it. One shot. Bottom mid. He's going knees. He's going knees with Kimbo. He's been knees. One shot with it. I died. Barrels. Camo's in. Barrels somewhere.
Barrels and E2.
And live, Aaron.
Snipes up in 30.
I think Snipe going Snipe spawn.
E2 is Snipe spawn.
Probably. Aaron, I'm coming towards you.
I see the wife. Barrels.
Be somewhere. I'm coming to you, Travis. Barrels with scatter. Barrels with scatter.
On pipes.
You guys gotta be careful. They're all gonna be barrels, guys. I think.
Barrels.
Top rail Snipes on weak. There's two guys there. Top rail cuts. I'm looking, Aaron. He's weak above you.
Pushing barrels, Brad. I'm pushing out.
Scatter here. Outside the map. Travis to your left. In Snipe hole behind us. Live, Aaron. And basement, guys.
Watch out, top side.
Basement weak. Basement very weak.
Watch out,
Absolute.
Watch out, Sewers.
Sewers. You're on your own, Aaron. Nice, Aaron. Sewers, we're gonna look at you.
See one shot. Spartan. I got one.
Nice, shoot that. We have Cypher. Live, guys, live.
Scatter? Where's that?
Connector. With scatter. Connector with scatter. Basement one shot.
We're looking.
Oh my god, I'm
Nice. Live, Aaron. You're gonna get a flow now.
Are these two?
I'm looking. White corner. Underpass. I got one.
Still on this penguin.
How many barrels, guys?
Already big cat.
Basement did photo.
I got a bullet in two. They have sniper.
Two guys on me.
Sniper top nest. Save Jason. Look at you. Sniper.
Two or three guys there. Carbine. Got you on now.
Brad has scatter. Will you play for the next camo?
I'm still alive.
We get.
Go underpass. He wants sniper.
He's basement.
E2 weak. I need help. We gotta get to me.
BR5, Jason.
Go cut spread.
E2. Guys, we gotta stop fucking just being stationary. Push each other on spawn.
Side spawn on me.
Live. You guys are there, E2. Side spawn. Bottom. They're gonna be bottom rail. Probably bunker, Brad.
Bunker's sniping. Side down sniper. Rails on top rail. Or scatter's on top rail.
I'm here with you, Aaron. I'm here with you. Top rail, Aaron.
Bottom rail.
I'm looking bottom rail. Bottom rail sniping weak.
Back E2.
Bottom rail very weak sniping.
Top rail.
I got sniper.
Nice.
Look at E1. I'm
44.
E2 guys. E2 weak. Bunker.
Bunker.
44 camo.
Bunker very weak.
I'm gonna die.
And cuts on me.
Bunker still looking at me.
Aaron, go for camo. Aaron, underpass camo. 44.
Nice. Travis is looking.
Yo, bottom rail.
Nice. Get out there.
One shot bottom rail.
Make sure we live with that.
Two bottom rail.
Yeah, I got one shot.
Still there.
Two down there.
Live, I'm in Carbine, guys. They don't know me here, I don't think.
They had one scatter shot top rail.
Yeah, they know I'm here. You're ready to push me. Aaron, watch me.
Sniping top rail.
Yep. They're weak on me.
A lot to take away from that listening, Dave. Some combative words, but also camo in the hands of Renegades now. So at least they got the power up, but the pushes that were coming in from Reciprocity during that listening, so impressive.
Yeah, you heard so much frustration. Half their callouts were saying, stay alive, I'm down. And it's always good to let your teammates be aware of the numbers, but unfortunately they kept putting themselves in those situations where they would have someone get picked off and people would be already overextended. The other takeaways I kind of had from that listening was one, hearing Lunchbox just directing his team. They have so much trust in him when he's making these call-outs saying, hey, we need to be pushing over here, we need to be holding this area. Lunchbox telling people to stay alive and buy some time or nice shots.
Oh my.
That was almost a sick turnaround from Spartan. But yeah, Lunchbox just directing that Renegades roster. They have so much trust in that player.
36-29 the score. Reciprocity have eked out a bit of a kill lead here. Spartan doing a great job of just laying down damage at the moment. Look how many times he's switched targets. He's laid down shots on 2 or 3 different players, picks up that initial kill, and then he's pretty much every single player who is currently on Renegades has felt those bullets coming out of Spartan's pistol.
Yeah, and that's a big difference now that we're watching this from the Reciprocity side. It felt like when we were watching players from Renegades during that listening, they would get into a single engagement and they would either win that and possibly stay alive, or they would just die from that single engagement. Whereas, you know, some of these players from Reciprocity, they're not afraid to battle somebody and then back down and use that as bait.
Killing spree here for Spartan. Using that scat shot effectively. Look at the team shot coming in as well. Look at it's Mikwin, Spartan, and Snipe down, aware of where that last player was. They close it down. They get the sniper rifle, and they're now just 6 kills away from going up by 2 in the series.
Yeah, and this is just a tough situation to be in. Similar to the last game, Renegades are starting to feel the squeeze. They're starting to say, all right, well, this one's pretty much over. Not sure what we can do in this one. Might have to look forward to game number 3.
See Mikwin here just predicting these spawns. Saw one player. His teammates already cleaning up the kills. Here goes Mikwin!
Oh, my God.
That's how you end a game, Austin!
Doing it in style there from Mikwin.
Wow.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Incredible.
The skill of these players. Here we go as we watch this replay one more time. Mikwin even going through a grenade during that.
No fear whatsoever shown by Mikwin. What a way to end it. Big smile on his face afterwards as well. He went 5 and 11, so I mean, at least he had some positivity to end it. But look at the guys on Reciprocity. They're getting pumped. Spartan always plays at his best when he's getting hyped. And that was a hell of a way to end the game. But let's bring it back to the start of the game and talk through it a little bit more before we get into our next game as well. Just complete control from around the 20 kill mark. It was close to that point, but then Reciprocity really did pull away.
Well, in so many different situations, you'd see Renegades actually have control of the sniper, but not do much with it. The very first time Lunchbox had it over at Carbine, he was isolated and taken out. Ace, he had it over at Nest side. And he had plenty of opportunities to actually leave and move to a new position, but he got cornered once again at bottom nest. Whereas as soon as you saw Snipe Down get control of that sniper, we saw it on the opposite end. We were watching it from Renegade's POV, but you'd see Snipe Down pick off someone from Whitehall, and then he'd rotate over towards Bunker, and he always had a new angle. And you'd even see the frustration from someone like APG when he got killed there. He just threw up his hands like, they have Sniper and Bunker. And that's just incredibly frustrating when you don't even know where Sniper's at and you get picked off by it.
Yeah, it's even more frustrating when you're going up against a player like that and you're in a battle before you get sniped. For example, we saw Lunchbox, he was sat on Carbine. He had players flying at him, and that just allows Snipe Down all the time in the world to just move out with that sniper rifle, pick off those players at range. So it's not just Snipe Down we have to give the plaudits to for the shots that he's hitting. It's his teammates making his job so much more easy.
Yeah, it's that buffer area. One of the things that's so much easier with the sniper is when you can decide when you want to jump out and fight. It's not very comfortable when you are close to the enemy team and you put yourself in a do-or-die situation. It's so much more comfortable when you have other players distracting because these players, the opponents are much more likely to be out in the open, especially weak, and you can hit a quick buy shot, or they're not paying attention to you. Sometimes you can just take that extra little time and line up that headshot. So it's just so much easier when you have your teammates as that distraction, as that shield around you as you're sniping.
Game number 3 underway, as you can see on your screens at home, and to everyone here in Seattle. Can Renegades wrestle a game away here from Reciprocity?
Can we talk about how nerdy
start.
that fight was right there?
Yeah.
That was one of the nerdiest things I've ever seen. Like, sometimes people, like, look through that angle and shoot there, but for someone to get picked off as they're looking through that little gap, it was absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Penguin getting the overshield. Penguin getting the rocket launcher. Penguin looking for the double. Gets the double as well. Now moving towards the blue bend. Can he find another one? No, great stick coming in from Neptune to shut down the momentum there. Reciprocity do have 2 plots under their control at the moment, and look at this, Spartan and Reciprocity immediately looking for the triple cap. When you're down 2-0 in a series, we know how relentless Strongholds can be. The last thing you want to do is go under that triple cap.
Yeah, you do not want to have that pressure put on you immediate like that. One thing about Strongholds is it's okay when the other team has a 2-cap setup for an extended period of time. They can hold it for a minute, and you're not going to be too down in the dirt. It's just when they get that trip cap setup and they put that pressure, they put that clock just, you know, they light that fuse and it just goes so quick. So in a situation like this, Renegades aren't panicking. They're saying, all right, as long as we can hold one stronghold right here, we can just get a couple kills and eventually revert this down. Being down by 15 or 16 points is not the end of the world.
Spartan finds the back smack there on Ace, playing that one nice and patient. At the moment, Renegades can't even really get in a 4v4 situation on the map. It seems like every single time they're respawning, they're coming under pressure. Look at this, Ace coming off respawn now. He's going to be taken down, and this is just complete domination coming in from Reciprocity. It turns into a triple cap. This one is looking good for them at the start.
Yep, this is the scary situation right now. Now Renegades have to put themselves in a position where they're all going to spawn in one position. They say, hey, do we take a long route and go for 2 different strongholds, or do we all dogpile on one stronghold? And it's really tough. If you dogpile on one stronghold, you know no Reciprocity can step on the perimeter. They can just come in from every angle and eventually get those kills and get that trip cap once again.
Yeah, they've just got to look for kills to start with. They just got to get some sort of...
It's as simple as that.
It's on the map.
Not that simple getting kills against these players, though. It's just get some slaves.
Especially when Spartan has the rocket launcher. So, I mean, it's looking difficult at the moment. However, we have seen how this game can turn around. However, when you lose an overshield to Spartan, when he's got that rocket launcher, you know life's going to become a little bit more difficult. APG, though, has managed to get the camo. Now, how does he play this? Gets the
he just has to take one. Yep. At some point, you can't get greedy and say, all right, I have to backsmack the overshield rocket guy. Instead, he just has to take whatever kill he can get. Right there, he was fought, you know, put himself in a situation where it's a one-on-one after that, but, you know, take the free kills when you can get them. Don't try to get too fancy and assume that you're going to sneak a little bit further behind them like you've seen in the montage back in the day.
Triple cap back in effect momentarily here for Reciprocity. Renegades does get turned over to Renegades, so at least they've stemmed the bleeding a little bit with the score at 63-64-0. They don't have too many more mistakes to be made. Spartan moving outside, you can see in the feed as well. Penguin, oh, he has the rocket launcher, but Spartan has a pistol! Taking down Lunchbox, Reciprocity rolling.
This is not looking good if you're a Renegades fan right now. You're not seeing much life out of them. You're just seeing them getting destroyed in every single opportunity they have. Some of those times when you are on the back foot, when the other team has control of the map, and you get those 1v1 fights, you have to win those, just plain and simple. You aren't going to have many more opportunities where you can get angles across the map, and right there, once again, Spartan winning a 1v1 against Neptune.
Well, at least the guys on Renegades have got some points on the board here. They have managed to get control of Blue Band, and they've managed to get control of Red Nest, but it's only going to be momentary because Spartan is on fire at the moment. A killing spree for him. Turns control back over to Reciprocity. A triple cap once again in effect here. This is a slaughter.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's really no surprise how much they're outslaying right now. We're looking at our Prowler feed at the moment. It is 35 kills for Reciprocity and only 15 kills for Renegades.
Well, that could be the spark that could light a fire under the guys on Renegades. Neptune with a beautiful back smack there to take a player down. They get control of Catwalk. Now, can they pick up the following kills? Ace gets one. The last 2 players alive here are trapped in the blue base.
Yeah, one of the scary things about that, though, is look at that amazing play they had to pull off, and they're still down by so much, and they aren't really in great position either to get these strongholds guaranteed. I mean, he now has his teammate with Overshield over there, but that was a tough situation as Ace was taken out. We're going to have to see if they can do anything with his camo and Overshield, and that camo is now taken out. APG getting crossed that fire. That Overshield is now out. This trip cap is going to be short-lived unless they can somehow get up towards Catwalk.
Nice shots from APG, though. They managed to get control of both the power-ups there, so there was an opportunity there for Renegades. Nice shots coming in again. Can they finish this one off as well? APG playing this one pretty nicely.
He has to go for Catwalk. I have a feeling at this point in time, you have to get a trip cap. You can't assume you're going to hold a double cap for this long. Put the pressure on Reciprocity. And right there, Penguin just flying out towards lower Catwalk, getting a kill. We have Spartan now taking Nest. This is just not looking good. It looks really sloppy from the Renegade side, even when they get a couple kills.
96-23, you can see Renegades putting all their eggs in one basket here. They're going for that Catwalk. Snipe down, just keeping the pressure on. Picks up the double. The reset comes in from Penguin. This is going to be game number 3. Going to Reciprocity. 1 game away from advancing.
I mean, there's not much you can do in this situation with Renegades. One thing Clutch kind of talked about before is across the board, individually, it just feels like every single member on Reciprocity are better than the members on Renegades. And when you have that differential, you have to come out and play your best Halo if you're going to take this series. And I'm not saying Renegades' best Halo right now.
Yeah, the scary thing for me is we're looking at Reciprocity at the moment as the stats come up. Game 1, Mikwin, Killing Frenzy, incredible plays. Game 2, we saw Spartan and Mikwin. Game 3, we've just seen every single player making big plays here on Reciprocity. We see Penguin 14, 6, and 6. And we're not even talking about Snipe Down. I mean, this guy's an absolute freak of a player. We saw him picking up that big double on the catwalk there to secure that game for Reciprocity. But, I mean, what do you do right now if you're Renegades? It's backs against the wall. You have to pull off an incredible reverse sweep. Can they make it happen?
When you have your backs against the wall and you need to take down a higher seed team that's absolutely on fire, you need to bring the aggression to them. So at some point when you have 2 or 3 members of Reciprocity down, I want to see Renegades just pushing, charging off the spawn. Do not let Reciprocity just sit back when they spawn and get numbers or push out a little bit and get a bit of breathing room. Like right there, that one time I talked about, we saw Renegades had 2 of the plots. They had control of Nest, they had control of Blue Bend, and APGs just kind of went over towards outside Turbine, over towards Lower Catwalk, and got killed by Penguin. It's like, no, charge over, try to get that 3rd cap. Try to catch them off their spawn, try to catch somebody slipping away, and instead they're just playing scared, they're playing a bit too defensive, and you can't be doing that here in the losers bracket semifinals.
We're going to start this one off with the point of view of a man who was hitting some disgusting clips yesterday on this particular map. Moving towards that sniper rifle. However, a nice start here from Renegades. A couple of kills do fall in their favor. However, Penguin stops that push immediately with a nice double, cleaning up the damage that was done by his teammates. Little plays like that, so important just to stop those pushes, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially, too, these players, they aren't just going to go for sneaky plays where they're going to get a single kill by themselves. You notice how as soon as that player jumped over to couch from top catwalk, Penguin just put that shot in without even thinking about it. He wasn't thinking about the element of surprise. He's saying, I'm going to put the shot on this player, and my teammates are going to clean it up.
The setup for success here. We see Spartan going to be taken down. Nice shots from Neptune. However, 3 players fall in a row here. Snipe Down's already moving that objective, and when Snipe Down's moving the objective, you know that all the players are hot on Reciprocity. The flag is now up. It's almost back at his base. Going to ground pound down. This is going to be the first flag of the game inside a minute and a few seconds. Reciprocity up by 1.
Yeah, Reciprocity now are going to play a bit defensive. You notice that one player hiding in the corner. Mickwin actually reverting back with the sniper back towards the side, getting that hit marker, so he's going to be a little bit safer here over in this cave for just a moment. But look at this again. Breathing room. It felt like Mickwin was starting to meet some pressure over on Snipe side, and he's now able just to bounce out, meet a one-on-one fight, dictate the pace with Spartan, take out Ace. It feels like they're just moving at their leisure and not really meeting as much resistance as they should be.
They just pretty much walked through the Snipe side of the map, picking off 2v1 battles. I mean, Renegades really aren't turning up right now, to be honest, in the series. Neptune picks up a double, but Penguin's sat up at the moment. You can see the rocket's about to drop in 10 seconds, so Reciprocity on top of the power weapons once again. However, an APG grenade comes in to take the Penguin out of his nest. 2 players now from Reciprocity. Push, nice stick from Lunchbox, but again, it's defensive plays. It's when they're down shields, it has to be a big play just to get a kill at the moment.
Yeah, you're never seeing these players just barrel through. You never see 2 or 3 members of Renegades just flying through one side of the map, getting a couple of these kills, getting a flagpole really quick, or grabbing that power weapon. It always feels like at every turn, Renegades just getting outnumbered. APG now has these rockets. Let's see what we can do with these. I want to see him and one of his teammates get a slay like this and then instantly push into the Reciprocity base.
Got 2 kills, as you say. Nothing to follow up, unfortunately. APG making sure that he's going to be able to pick up a guaranteed kill with this rocket. Takes down Spartan. But again, just the grenades coming in, dropping him to no shields. Here comes the cavalry here on Reciprocity. Sorry, on Renegade. You can see his teammates moving around, but it's all sideways battles at the moment, Dave. They're not making this push on the base.
No, and right there, both APG and Ace taking out on that Snipe side. They had kind of these bait and switch fights there. I'm sure there was 2 one-shot players there from Reciprocity, and both those players win their individual battles.
And look at that. That's gifted a sniper rifle now to Mickwin. Saw the shot he hit to end game number 2. Trying to line up a few hard scopes here on the back flag. Knows those players are trapped. Hits 1 there on Ace. Looking for the second on APG. Mickwin again showing what he can do with the sniper rifle. Now, can they convert this into another flag cap?
Yep, Mickwin's most likely going to sit here, see if he can get another spawn kill or 2. Afterwards, he'll likely revert over towards top Snipe side if none of these players are pressuring him. It looks like he's getting some pressure, but he takes that pressure off himself as he hits a nice no-scope on Lunchbox.
Disgusting. Mickwin is turned up here on Championship Sunday in this first game of the day. Do not challenge this man. Do not challenge this man right now, because he is not missing. Now relocating, making another one for Mickwin. I warned you.
Look how much more comfort the Reciprocity team has as they move across the map. Every other time we've seen Renegades POV, they're just timid, they're sitting back. They just walk right into every single little trap. They're going in predictable positions. Whereas you see Reciprocity, they're just able to move around wherever it feels like they want to.
Launchbox gets the new rocket launcher, at least maybe something that he can do with that. However, Penguin's some nice shots here, and it just seems the pistols are just so superior at the moment on Reciprocity. Lunchbox, again, having to use the power weapon just to clear out his own base.
It was a weak player, too, if you think about it. Like, I believe Penguin had a shot or two. He also had number advantage. He's like, you know what? I gotta use these rockets. Don't even think about it. Just get these kills, secure them, and push it over. Lunchbox trying to lead the charge for this Renegade squad. I like this play. We're finally seeing Renegades say, we're getting a couple kills. Let's push and run Reciprocity's base. But as we called that out, Snipe Down answers with a triple kill of his own. Is he gonna be able to get this recub? He'll let his teammate do it.
Smart play from Snipe Down. They're up by 2. Even after that triple kill, make sure you get that flag back to your base. Don't want to give any light, even a chink of light, here to Renegades and a way back into this game. APG going to be trying to put some shots down on him. Does back him up, but Spartan picking up another kill. And once again, surprise, surprise. The script at the moment in this game is that Renegades are just trapped in their base. Penguin picks up a double. They just cannot get out.
Yeah, just this positioning's all around from the Renegades members. I like that challenge from Penguin right there. As his teammates get shot, he decides to jump out and help as fast as possible. These players are not going to let one of their teammates get shot without answering with something back.
Incredible teamwork coming in from Reciprocity. Of course, they're just one flag cap away now from winning this game, winning the series in the sweep. Finally, Renegades pick up a few kills, but can they get past the halfway point of the map? I think we've seen one flagpole come in, and it was a little bit desperate, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we saw Lunchbox over there again. He was eventually taken out by Mikwin. Now, these are some of those scary situations where players are not seeing the results that they want to see on their team, and Ace just getting collapsed by 2 players. Look how fast that collapses compared to when we've seen members of Reciprocity over at the opposing cave. Now, the one point I wanted to make right there was, first off, Mikwin doesn't need a scope. He just doesn't. He uses it when he wants to. The second point being is you start to see some desperation from those Renegades players where they feel like they have to get some sort of sneaky pull rather than going in for a concerted team effort where they're getting all the slays and pushing them together. They're starting to feel like, well, I need to somehow sneak behind enemy lines and get this flag pull while you're getting slays. And that's not a very consistent method of getting flags.
Sorry, I was just genuinely surprised there that Mikwin missed a shot, but I tell you who's not missing shots. It's Spartan. He's looking for more as well. Almost finds the overkill there after the triple. The flag scooped up here by Snipe Down. They're moving this one towards their base. Snipe Down with the thrust. Snipe Down with the game in his hands, and it's going to be Reciprocity who sweep aside Renegades in our first game of the day. That is a statement.
Absolutely. 4-0, and then each of those games, too, were just domination from this Reciprocity squad. I don't know what else to say. I felt like Renegades had a couple opportunities to get back in the game. We saw them starting to show some life in that Rig Slayer, but every single start of each game, we'd see a cap within the first minute. We saw it on Coliseum. We saw it on Fathom. Every single, on that Strongholds match, we just saw them get off to such a strong start. They got the trip cap right off the bat, and then I believe they extend that all the way till they got to around the 65 mark before we saw any sort of answer from the Renegades roster.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, the thing that I think is giving them a little boost as well is the amount of support we have here in Seattle. I know that there's a big Reciprocity following at the moment in the crowd, and you can probably hear them behind us at the moment. We certainly can. But yeah, I mean, it's incredible to see. So shout out to those guys. Unfortunately, Renegades will be going home right now. But I mean, put that performance we've just seen into context from what we've seen. Obviously, Renegades, you know, they pushed Envy right to the edge of their limits, but that was just complete domination. How do you think that stacks up against what we've seen from Tox and Splice?
Yeah, I'm a firm believer in scorelines. I mean, when we saw our last North American event in Columbus, we saw Splice got knocked down to the losers bracket. They eventually made their way back up, but during that time, they absolutely dominated Reciprocity throughout their earlier match. So when I see Reciprocity putting a scoreline like that, 4-0, with all those games being completely one-sided, it looks very good. It bodes well for their future matches.
Well, that's going to do it from us for game number 1. We're going to send it back to the desk now. The series has everything. Enjoy breaking that one down, gents.
Oh, man, that was a barn burner of a game from Reciprocity. Congratulations to them. And also an update for those of you who may not have tuned into the side station. Envy defeated Elevate 4-0. So our upcoming matchup will be Envious versus Reciprocity. Welcome back to the desk. Golden Boy alongside with Lethal, Clutch, as well as Wonder Boy. My goodness, gentlemen, that was just a shellacking by Reciprocity. I don't have a better word that I could possibly put together here.
Is that even
Siami walks by and just laughs at me as I said that because honestly, it's the truth.
I don't even think shellacking's a word, but I want the Oxford English Dictionary to add it if it's not.
I'm pretty sure that's how you shellac a floor. That's just what you do.
Okay.
Clutch, back me up here. You're American.
I'm not backing you up here.
Come on, man. One time I needed you to, and you just let me down. But yeah, we started in Fathom CTF at the start. And again, I think Walshy kind of said it best, right? There were moments where Renegades could have, should have, but just didn't. It was just all Reciprocity. These players are shooting unbelievably. Honestly, they just didn't miss Lethal. They just didn't miss.
One of the key things, not just in this game and previous games and after, was the fact that Renegades were playing so passive and so slow. I can understand you have to play slow and methodical, but if you play like that and you actually get an area on the map, you've got to capitalize, you've got to be aggressive, you need to go for those areas. This game in particular, Spartan had that scanner throughout the whole game, and he helped Reciprocity actually have complete Whitehall control. And when you've got it like that for the whole game and Mikwin sniping like that, there's no way you can make any kind of comeback in that game.
Well, I know that we have a G Fuel play of the game, and Wonderboy, you're going to break it down for us. So what you have?
It's a doozy. It's that final snipe from Mikwin, the game-winning snipe. It's not a headshot, guys, but it's still a beautiful shot, purely because of the listening coming in here from Mikwin. He already knows that player there from Renegades, APG, is weak. He knows all he has to do is hit a body shot, but still, the fashion in which he does it, that is style points. That's a statement on the game, and you can see what it means to Spartan.
He's at 49 to 29 at that point. I mean, there's no reason for that. That's nonsense, Mikwin. But what that was the start of Mikwin catching fire, and I think we really saw it in that game 4. Mikwin just going off with the sniper. And we've seen this in H2A. We've seen Mikwin completely take over a tournament and show that he can be the best player in the game on a single day. And if Mikwin's playing like that, I mean, Tox and Splice, whichever one loses in that winners finals, or Envy next, I mean, good luck, because you cannot let that kid get sniped, because he's going to punish you time and time again.
That, well, the snipes that were... One thing I do got to point out, a couple things here, because it's just my mind is just in a spin at this point. Firstly, in that rig game, despite the impressive final shot that came from Mikwin, he actually went like 5 and 11. But he had 14 assists, right? So that just shows that he's just putting a lot of damage. He's just putting a lot of pressure on there. But the last time that I saw Mikwin hitting shots like this was UGC St. Louis, when him and Denial Esports won that event.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I mean, he literally took that event over. And I mean, even though he went 5 and 11, you saw how relaxed he was after he hit that. He was starting to crack up. Like, he didn't even care, because his team got a stake and he hit some ridiculous snipe. And I mean, like, that snipe, yeah, it might have been a little luck to it, but those snipes in that game 4, I mean, he just took over.
But then, guys, you go over to Eden Strongholds, and the domination continues. Reciprocity winning that 100 to 23, and then Coliseum CTF as well. I mean, I don't even, Wonderboy, this was just clinical.
Both game 3, Eden Strongholds, and game 4, Coliseum Capture the Flag, felt like Renegades were trying to play reactive to whatever Reciprocity were doing, and it just was not working. You can't do that while Mikwin is hitting snipes like these. Those angles are so impressive, and you know he's going to hit them more often than not, especially after hitting a game-winning snipe in Game 2. You can't do that if you're Renegades. That's just not good enough. Certainly won't get it done on Championship Sunday, and as a result, they're out.
It wasn't just a reactive play as well. It's the fact that they're trying to force themselves to be aggressive, but there was so many times I was watching them just let them have Snipe Tower and just let them have the main important parts on the map, and it was like they wanted to lose. I know it sounds bad, but when you see players like that playing so defensively, because I've spoken about it before, where with Renegades, they love to wait for those stalemate situations and try and capitalize on the first mistake. The difference was the fact that Reciprocity was forcing them to make the mistakes by sitting back way too long, getting flanked and getting clapped every single time.
I just feel like Halo 5, because of the abilities, because of the movement, it's just a game that you can't play slowly. You just cannot go at a snail's pace. It's not like Lockout TS where you could just hide out in library and one guy hangs out S3. You know, you got to wait for that push.
Look at
Splice.
Look
at Splice. They fly at everyone.
I mean, I think that's what really separates the top 4 from everyone else is the speed that they play at. Every other team in the top 8, top 16 get overwhelmed with the aggressiveness of teams like Reciprocity and like Envy.
But do you think that's also because it's not a matter of like they're getting overwhelmed. It's just I feel like maybe these other teams want to try and do that same thing as well. They just simply do not have the pieces to execute that, the pieces to kind of form that puzzle.
The individual skill comes into play there. Like, you need to be able to be that confident in your shot and hit those shots to be able to put yourselves in that aggressive of a position. That's extremely part of it.
Yeah.
It's a combination of both that separate these two teams, and you see series like 4-0 with the Envy and Elevate, and you see a 4-0 here with Renegades and Reciprocity. That word is so hard for me to say. Right?
Trust me, I've had so many problems with that word.
Just some closing thoughts from me in that series and looking ahead at the series against Envious for Reciprocity. Looking at scrim results, that last series against Renegades, they scrimmed them before the World Championships, just a couple of days ago before the whole tournament kicked off. Reciprocity won that one 10-2. And if you're reading into scrim results to kind of give you an idea of how these series are going to work out, they also play Team Envious just after Renegades, and they lost that 9-3. So again, if you like paying attention to scrim results, I know obviously a lot of teams like to try new things. They use it as practice, you know, just feeling out other teams as well as, you know, just oiling your own gears. Then you might say that Envious have the upper hand in this series, but after what we've just seen from Rec, I mean, that was a steamroll.
It was a complete understatement with that steamroll as well, because when you see teams like that, the difference between the top 6 and the top 4, not just the aggression, but how strategic it is and the coordination. But you could see all the players on Reciprocity were just all on the same page, all around the map. Doesn't matter if they're next to each other or wherever. They were bait and switching as a trio so much around Snipe Toe, and you saw in that final game. And the reason why Mick was able to snipe so well is that they were so good at just baiting him out around Fountain, around their snipe side, even pushing them open so Mick has even more clear shots. So it just shows how much involvement it has. So with those other two teams in the top 6, they would have to do serious work in the future events.
Well, we got to put that behind us now, because moving forward, we have Reciprocity taking the main stage once again against the boys in blue, Team Envious. And I think for a lot of us, this was a matchup that we had all, expected to a degree, because these two teams, they've kind of sat within that 3 and 4 interchanging spot time and time again. But here's a look at the bracket, how it's going to shape up. So bear in mind, the winner of Reciprocity Envious moves on to the elimination final, where the loser of our winners final will take a trip down there to go up against them. Clutch?
I really can't wait for this Reciprocity Envy series. We haven't seen it yet, and this has been like the third. These two teams have been the 3 and the 4 for what feels like a long time, like way too long for them to not be in this situation at a tournament so far. I think Reciprocity matches up very well with this Envy squad. I mean, we just heard that their scrim scores where Envy kind of blew them out, which really surprises me, because Envy does have a really interesting style in Halo 5, but I feel like this Reciprocity roster just has so much individual skill on their team, and when they're clicking like they are, like we just seen, I don't think it bodes well for Envy.
Yeah, bear in mind, too, I just wanted to say real quick, though, this is a matchup for top 3 and guaranteed $100,000. So this is a big matchup. What are you going to say, Harry?
And you got to remember is the fact that with these two teams, I don't think they matched each other at Columbus last event due to how the brackets played out. So this will be very interesting to see, because I don't think we've maybe seen it since Orlando even. So you've got both teams where you've got one team with Envy where their consistency's been very different on different tournament days, but Reciprocity's really showed up, and I think both teams are going to have a lot of momentum going into this, since they've just done a 4-row clean sweep on both top 6 teams. So it will be interesting and be really good to see how they both play out in this series.
This is going to be a good game, guys, and now I think and there you go, Rack Pack right there for you. 1 million prize, and go to halo.gg and redeem that. Now I think this is a good opportunity to get some predictions. I've been kind of missing the mark all weekend, and I should know from all the other events I do that there will be, just constant agreement on the desk. But I feel like now we're in a situation where we can finally make some good, spicy predictions. But first, before we do that, map order real fast, we have Strongholds Eden, Slayer Coliseum, CTF Truth, then Strongholds Plaza, then if necessary, Slayer Regret, CTF on Fathom, followed by Team Slayer on the rig, I believe. So my screen went out here for a second, but
that's correct.
All right, gentlemen,
it was correct.
Match time.
Game 7.
Who do you got?
This is by far the most difficult series I've had to call this entire weekend, and it only gets tougher from here on out. Seeing Envious on stage in the Championship Whites here on Championship Sunday at the Halo World Championship, it just gives me chills, and I know what this Team Envious team can do. They are a scary lineup when they are all on point. It depends if they are all on point. I didn't get a chance to catch their match against Elevate, but a 4-0 against an Elevate team who has been pretty spicy, you know, pretty prickly so far this weekend, bodes well for me. I think Envious take this series, guys. I'm thinking 4-2.
To just chime in on the Envy Elevate matchup, one thing that Elamite did say, because he was the one casting that game, was that it was a 4-0, but it wasn't as dominant as Reciprocity's win over Renegades.
One thing I will say for Reciprocity, I am a big Rec fan, but I gotta say, those first 3 game types, it could go either way. We have a Coliseum Slayer in there. We know how that can really swing in one team's favor, and there are other game types in there as well that they could potentially exploit against Team Envious, but I'm going with Envy 4-2.
All right, Clutch, what do you got for me, buddy?
Right. Going into this weekend, I was really, really hoping that this is how the bracket would play out, that we'd find ourselves in the series in the elimination semifinals. And I've thought about it even before I left on the flight on the way here. I mean, this is a series that I've really put a lot of thought into. I think you got to go with Reciprocity. I love what I saw out of everyone on that roster in that last series. Penguin was making plays. Snipedown doing what Snipedown does best, show up on Sunday, of course. Miquin has found himself a rhythm, it seemed like, towards the end of that series. Yeah, I love Reciprocity. I think I'm Team Reciprocity right here. I think they're going to go into this elimination finals very confident after they 4-1 Envious.
Now, my predictions have been good so far, and I'm hoping it continues that way. And if you said to me before the weekend who would win in this matchup, normally I would have said Envy, but Reciprocity this weekend have been so good, and it's so hard to just say no to them. And I might be being biased, and the crowd loves them as well. So I'm going to say Reciprocity 4-2, or maybe into a 4-3, because we saw how they played that Rig Slayer against Renegades, and it was a dominant fashion. So yeah, I'm going to say a Game 7 for Reciprocity.
The reason I go for Envious against Reciprocity, guys, is because, in my opinion, Reciprocity's best placement was at Columbus, thanks to a fortunate bracket. They have yet to prove to me that they can break into that top 3 through playing games. So that's the reason I go for Team Envious.
See, I've seen these guys. I've seen these guys perform at so many tournaments over time that I don't have to see them get a fortunate bracket. I know they have what it takes. This is the tournament that they're about to break the bracket and make it into the top 3.
Okay, gentlemen, well, the predictions are in. And while the favor is for Reciprocity here, along with Clutch and Lethal, Wonderboy siding with Envious, what we do know is that it is going to be a fantastic matchup. But first, though, we don't want to let you guys know about some of the promotions and all the good stuff that are going on here. And by the way, you watch today on Mixer.com/Halo, and you can get yourselves a Halo 5 Voices of War rec pack. It's very easy. All you have to do is watch. That's it. Just make sure that your accounts are linked. You have your Mixer account alongside with your Microsoft account that you use for your Xbox Live. You just tune in, and you get yourself a free Voices of War rec pack. It will basically come onto you when you're watching the stream. After the stream, notifications will be sent to everyone regarding the mix pot. Granting usually takes a few days to show up in-game, but there's no further action needed from you guys. All you got to do is just sit there and watch some excellent Halo play. Big thank you to Mixer for making that one happen. But that's going to do it for the desk here. It's going to be a good one, though. We just saw Reciprocity dominate Renegades. They're going to be moving forward. Elevate, unfortunately, could not stand tall against Envious, but now that leaves us with our next matchup. It's going to be Reciprocity versus Envious, a $100,000 match on the line. Who comes out on top? We are live from Seattle, baby.